Welcome in the green room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chet.
And this is Martin. Welcome, everybody.
And we've got the big ass box author on the show, John Diggs. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Is it just me or does that sound a little dirty?
It does. It's what's in your big ass box.
Oh, well, that totally
What's in
changes
your big
it.
ass box.
What's in your big ass box?
I like
it.
big ass box better.
Yeah.
All right, so John, thank you for coming to the show. It's John Diggs.
Thank you.
Diggs or Dig?
Diggs, D-I-G-G-S, as in can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
And
All
you
right.
want people to dig your big ass box.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Dig it, please.
So we just finished with a wonderful lunch
Nice.
with you, and you kind of gave us a little bit of background. So tell our listening audience, this is your latest book of 5
That is.
that you've written since the pandemic.
Yes.
And Kinga asked you earlier, she said, I have an hour to live, what do I read
First.
And you said
Big
this
ass
one.
box.
What's
So,
in your big ass box?
let's start with
should be
that.
the first.
Why?
But also, we have to introduce Linda Rittenhouse, that's been on the show, that brought the big ass box to our show, that brought the John Diggs, the former NFL player.
You should give the title.
We're going to get an
Don't just say
NCF just
half
from
of
the
it.
tent.
What's in your big ass box?
There you go.
Right, there it
Ted-
is.
and he's a professional speaker. He has a TEDx Talks.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you definitely have to check out the TED.
And all these box
Right.
Because you put a lot of effort into that. Which we'll talk about later.
Was it even?
Because I want to hear about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh,
no,
yeah.
first of all, Kinga asked you,
Mhm.
I have an hour to live.
Mhm.
What am I supposed to read? You said
Right.
that. Why?
What's in your big ass box is a spinoff from my TEDx talk.
Okay.
Where in the side of the TEDx talk, I talk about how when I was homeless, struggling, trying to get my life back together, moved back to my mom's house with.
But hold on, people don't know that you were an NFL player.
Yeah.
Uber
yeah,
successful.
you just went to
Sorry.
0
I
to
mean,
homeless.
yeah.
Okay, a little too fast, I think.
Okay.
So hold
My
on.
backup, my backup.
We gotta do the background.
Yeah. Give us some
Well,
background
all right.
about yourself, and then what
Well,
I guess led
And Linda,
you
please
to
say
this.
hello because
Right.
you brought him to our show.
Okay, hello, I'm Linda Rittenhouse. I'm the proud editor of What's in Your Big Ass Box.
And how did you meet John Diggs?
Former neighbor.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, thank you.
neighbor.
So thank you so much for bringing John Diggs. We're excited about the show. We're excited about what's in your big ass box.
Yeah.
And why
I
did
just-
you?
Well,
Kills me every
Why
time.
did you go from NFL player, millions and millions of dollars, to homeless?
Well, to start back
question.
from the start, I was born a poor black child. I'm totally joking, but
Totally stole a joke from Steve Martin?
I did. But in some sense, that's true.
Right,
but,
right.
but I was blessed and fortunate to go play college football at Washington State, go Cougs, played 5 years in the NFL and CFL, opened up a mortgage company, pretty successful, lost
So
everything.
NFL to mortgage.
Right.
And what teams
And
did you
you're
play for?
also
Because
hold
people are
on.
interested in that.
There's a big step that you're missing is that you created software for your mortgage company. So you're not only a mortgage broker, you're not only a salesperson, but you are a computer and still are a computer coder. So during the NFL, did you know that before the NFL or after the NFL? I forgot to ask you that
I
at lunch.
did not know anything about computers while playing football at all.
All right, so after football, you
Right.
said, I gotta do something different. You were inspired to
Right.
go beyond
Well,
football.
Yeah, partly true. I left
Okay, so
Washington
tell us,
State.
tell us
yeah,
what
I'm
we
telling
wanna know. We wanna
telling
know.
you. I left Washington State
Inquiring
early.
minds want to know.
Left Washington State early to get ready to play football. I
Okay.
didn't graduate, but before I played any football, I got my California real estate license.
No kidding.
Yeah, and actually, when I was with the Raiders the last 2 years in LA, I was actually listing and selling properties while
In
I
Los
was still
Angeles, the
playing. In Los
Raiders.
Angeles.
You were playing football and
had
a real estate
homes,
agent.
I was
at
listing
one time.
properties.
Wow.
So I knew I was
So
going to
you
get
were
into real
hustling.
estate. It was just fun. It was just a fun kind of hobby I was doing, knowing that that's what I was going to do when football was over.
All right.
But hold on.
Yeah,
you're
you
married with
downplay
kids.
this, but how many of your teammates were also
Wait,
had a
ask my
side
question.
hustle
Married
like
with
that?
kids?
Well, I actually
This is the view here. We're all talking at the same time.
I actually sold a couple of players' houses that were on the team. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But you were the one that was going the next step for the side hustle. Was anybody else on the team doing that?
No, not that I was aware of.
Okay.
No, not
So
this
that's-
kind of
so
hustle.
I,
at all.
and I just
So Chad
want to
has a
notice.
question.
I want to note that because I think that's an important part of the story.
yeah, yeah.
I was just going
Chet's
to
got a
ask,
question.
what exactly
I'm the
happened that
mediator.
caused your mortgage company to go under? Because it sounds like up to that point you had tons of success.
Yeah.
Making it to the NFL is incredibly difficult, and you had a 5-year career. That's really impressive. And then playing D1 college football is also very difficult. So
I
you
was
had
lucky.
a lot of success up in a row.
Right.
And then you all of a sudden had failure. What caused that?
Well, I had a
What was it
badass
like
mortgage company from 2003 all the way till the mortgage meltdown
in 2008?
in 2007.
Oh, okay.
That's
is
when it started.
That's
But
when it
that's when the
started for the
economy
mortgage
tanked.
company.
Yeah.
The
The whole
world didn't
economy
know about the
changed.
mortgage
Yes.
meltdown until 2008. But for us mortgage guys, the collapse started in like March of 2007.
Okay.
And I recall from our lunch that you said you were also overspending. You were taking people on lunch dates
you know,
and flying
life was good.
helicopters.
Life
You
was
were having a
good.
You're
good
flying a
time.
helicopter
I was-
here and there
Well, and
for a lunch date,
Yeah,
and you
I
were
was-
like overspending. You're
Yeah,
being,
I was
yes,
I was
but you
born
were
a-
also taking
total
care of your
debauchery.
people.
Yeah, I was born a poor back child and had a mortgage company that was making $1 million a year. Yeah, so I didn't know how to do it. You know, I didn't have a bunch of money managers or people to show me how to
so
save.
overspending. Would you say overspending caused that loss?
No, that didn't cause the loss. The mortgage meltdown caused the
Mhm,
loss.
mhm.
You know, I was making a lot of money, had some decent savings, but
Mhm.
with the mortgage meltdown, like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of us brokers that had these mortgage companies could not believe that the world would do this to our industry. So we held on to staff and expenses at $25,000, $30,000 a month. That
Mhm.
blows through your savings. So now you got to part ways with people 9 months later because you're tired of,
But had
losing
you
everything.
closed the whole entire business down, and
Mhm.
and just you probably wouldn't have been homeless. But you were trying to.
Yeah, I
Right.
had no choice. Like as I
Mhm.
mentioned before, I was struggling trying to get jobs everywhere. You know, I applied for a job at Target and was denied because they said I was overqualified. You know, at Target, I was doing everything, and I just had a newborn in 2008. My 14-year-old was just born, so I was struggling trying to find a way to make it, and had a wife and 3 kids, and was the sole provider, and I couldn't provide, so it was
So
crazy.
how did you get back on your feet?
I was
from
about
that
to
point?
ask that
Yeah.
exact same question.
Yeah, well, just so
Cheers.
happened, like Martin was mentioning, I had built my infrastructure for my mortgage company. I actually was just messing around and built the processing system. And one of my loan officers went to another company in 2009 who just bought this software. They didn't know what to do with it, how to implement it, how to change it, or how to do anything. He said, "Hey, man, John Diggs knows computer stuff. He knows the mortgages. You might want to call him." And again, I was turned down from Target, so I was taking everything I could.
So now this is a person that worked for you,
Right,
that you had taken care of
right.
for 6 to 9 months, even though you couldn't afford it.
Right.
And they turned around and took care of you.
Right. We had a good company. It was a good family-oriented, being the only African-American based company in the San Fernando Valley. You know, I really did a lot
Cool,
of
really?
outreach.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did a lot of outreach to African-Americans there. So, introducing them to this business and getting them in,
Wow.
training them up and stuff. So, yeah, we had
So
a
there
great
was
family.
a little bit of positive
That's
karma
cool.
going on,
Right.
right? 'Cause
Right.
even though the world was melting down, you still got a second chance.
Yeah, much needed at that time. So but this was after going homeless, moving to my mom's.
You moved in your
Now, all right,
mom's.
hold on.
And your
How
wife
old
lived
were
in
you
her
when
mom's.
you had to move back with your mom?
2008. I don't have a calculator. What was that?
You were older than 30.
Yeah, I was
pretty
older.
sure.
I was probably 40. I was
But a
probably
lot
40.
of people do that. There's no shame in that.
Yeah, I was
There's
40.
Oh no, I'm
shame in
not
that.
trying
A
to
lot of people
shame
do
him. I'm
that.
just
I was
saying
39,
that
40.
that's a humbling experience.
Oh, yeah, it
you
was
have
like-
this
I'd be excited
incredible.
to. I want to move in with my mom, but she doesn't want to live with me. I'm like, Mom, I want to come and take care of you. I want you
Your
to
mom
move
would be
with
a
me.
blast to live with.
I know.
She cracks
I
me
know.
up all the time.
I want.
No,
I
I'm
want
not
to.
bagging on moms
She's
because
like,
I mean,
I want to live alone.
if
wasn't
I
by
ran into
choice.
trouble, my mom would be the first person that I would go talk to.
Yeah.
So
It
I
wasn't
get
by
that.
choice, and to your point, Martin, it was very humbling. Like I said, I had $1 million home and flying helicopters, and now I'm forced to move to my mom's house with
Forrest,
some
don't
gym
hurt
clothes.
your mom's feelings.
What's that?
Don't hurt your mom's feelings.
Oh no, she was
You
fine.
were lucky
He's
to
being
meet.
She
realistic
knew what
about
was
the
going on.
situation.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well,
it was,
and
I
how
had no other
amazing,
choice. I had
how
no other
amazing
choice.
for her
Mhm.
that
Right.
she has this son who's had this amazing success.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, come on back.
Well, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it was easy for her knowing that most of the stuff in her house I bought anyway.
Mhm.
So I was sleeping on the couch I bought her. So it was kind of cool. Lucky I
High
bought her a
five.
good
Yeah,
couch.
I hear positive karma. That's all I hear.
Bought her a
Positive
good couch,
karma.
you know. But
So it
during-
sounds like you were quite generous when you were
Mhm.
very successful and doing
Exactly.
well.
Oh, he was
So you
generous.
kind of had earned that, good faith and treatment.
Right. Love reciprocation definitely
Exactly,
kicked in, you know, by being cool and kind and nice to people when
Yeah,
I was
extremely
down.
generous.
Those that
Always
could
was.
help, helped. But
Yeah.
again, the world was in a, not too many people, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
I
what was-
myself personally, I know tons of people. I lost almost everything in 2008,
Yeah.
2009. So I mean, that was a
It's
tough
crazy.
time for many people.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine was like, it's like, what you into? I was like, oh man, you know, just trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. And he was like, you got 15 cents? I was like, I was like, yeah.
That's a good friend right there.
So how did you go
sometimes.
from your mom's house
Yes.
to getting, back on your feet,
Right.
and then getting to the point where you're writing these books and you have your backyard
Yeah,
company
yeah.
and meeting Linda in
Well,
that
the-
beautiful neighborhood? I know where Linda lives.
Yeah, the key thing is that when I moved back to my mom's, I moved back with just gym clothes, a bike, and this big ass box that was full of motivational books, CDs,
Tony Robbins.
DVDs, Tony Robbins, Landmark Education, Brian Tracy, all of
Love
the big
Landmark. I've done the programs. Done
went through
tons
all the
of people.
curriculum. I
So
did
many
through all
good
that.
things.
So I knew to reset my life, I had to get back into that box because that was the way I get my thoughts back together and rebuild.
And that was the most important thing when you were
Right.
homeless. It was to keep those motivational.
I had to
thoughts.
rebuild. I lost my wife at the time and kids moved from Los Angeles to Cottonwood, Arizona,
Mhm.
7 hours away. My life was a mess. So I knew I was determined to get it back.
Yes.
And inside that big ass box, on the bottom of it was this book that a friend told me about mind mapping. Intrigued me. I looked at it and was like, came up with the idea. Let me mind map everything. All
Can
of
you
these
define
books.
mind mapping for people that don't know what that means?
Mind mapping is a visual information management tool, is what I like to call it. I also even go as far as to say it's the most powerful thinking tool in the universe because it allows you to take your thoughts and put it in a map form so you'll see it clearly, all of the different perspectives of whatever it is you're focused on. Problem solving, decision making, trip planning, dealing with issues in your past, goal setting, whatever that is. If you map it out, it gives you a 10,000 foot perspective of that, so you see things so much clearer, which enables you to come up with more ideas.
And how do we start? Like, if you want to mind map something, like, how do you suggest we start?
Yeah, you just take a piece of paper, you put it like in portrait, you can draw a circle in the middle, and whatever that topic is goes in the main central subject. Then you just start mapping out the different topics. As we talked about before with a book project, for instance, the name of the book would go in the center, the chapters would go around, subtitles would go underneath those chapters. So now you're looking at a whole one shot of everything you was just
What about love life?
consider.
Let's go with love life. How would you map that out?
Same way. In the middle would just be like love life, and each one of the chapters, would just be a
Like
different
what?
topic. Can, the power of belief, U, the power of identity, D, the power of decision, D, the power of identity, imagination, G, the power of go. All of those would be around that central topic. Then if you can focus on one of the topics and really just ask yourself pertinent questions. What's most important about it? What's the
Such
who,
as?
what, where, and why about this subject that I'm looking at? You get so many ideas that come to your mind that you just start putting them on your map. Then off of those ideas, you come up with more ideas and more ideas and more ideas. And next thing you know, you got this big map that's all connected and linked together for you to be like, wow, I see things clearer than I've ever seen before as far as this book that I'm reading or this decision I need to make or problem I'm
love
trying
it.
to solve.
So is
I love
this
it.
something that you teach? Like when you
I do.
So do you have like classes? Is it online? Like
Yeah, well, as a result of the TEDx talk, it's just been a buzzword ever since because a lot of people have been
was
asking about
recent.
it. Yeah, it was just in
So
January
let's talk
in
about the
Gainesville.
TEDx talk.
Yeah.
Give us like, I know it was like 15 or 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Okay.
But it was basically
So-
the story I just shared in a nutshell as
Okay.
far as how I went from homeless and rebuilt my life. One of the key components that I did in the that process of rebuilding my life is develop a mind map called I Am, which is one of my books,
Okay.
because I realized the most important thing that I needed to do is to get clear on who I am. What's most important to me? What do I want with my life? You know, what do I want to achieve? What's most important? And so I started with that mind map there, and that's in my TEDx talk. And to your point, afterwards, so many people have been interested in it that decided to create this online community called Mapaneerville.com. And it's just strictly, well, Mapaneer, since I've learned over all this mind mapping quest that I'm one of the few, if not the only in the world that's using mind mapping as a personal development tool. Most people, companies, Fortune 500, Ivy League schools, they use it more for like project management, brainstorming.
Which
stuff.
is what I've used it for in the past, but I've never used it for personal development. I'm in the personal development space, so this is very fascinating.
Intriguing.
Right.
So you said that people in Europe and other parts of the world are
They're
using
very
it, though.
big on mind mapping, but they still use
For-
it just as those applications. Since I'm the only one to date that I know of that's using it as a personal development
High
tool.
five. I dig it. I dig it.
Instead of mind
John
mapping,
Diggs, we dig it.
yeah, good.
We dig it here.
Not bad. Instead of mind mapping, we call it mapaneering, which is a combination of engineering and mind mapping, which ultimately means engineering beautiful mind maps to love your life more. So created this place called Mapaneerville, or the Ville for short, for anybody who's interested in being a part of a community of people that are all trying to learn how to use mind mapping to, you know, love life more, optimal living, peak performance.
And
It's a great way to evolve. Yeah.
Yep,
And,
engineering
like,
beautiful
grow your
minds.
thinking.
I think that is what an amazing life progression from where you've came from.
I've been lucky and blessed.
Yeah. And so you've told me, you know, when we had lunch, you told me that you want to give back. You're looking at introducing, or you have been introducing this to like high school football programs, athletics, things like that. You've been doing some really cool stuff
And
with
your
your
daughter.
daughters.
Your
Yeah,
daughter's
you're-
taking over your program.
Tell the audience
You're sending her
the two books that you had your youngest daughter mind map, because these two books are, I mean, I remember reading those when I was first in sales, right out, probably during college when I'm learning business and having to be, those are the two books that I
Think and
read.
Grow
And
Rich,
now
How to
you're
Win
making,
Friends,
and now you're making your daughter not only read them,
Yeah, she got a
But
mind
mind
map.
map.
He's
Yeah.
paying his
And you're-
daughter to read the
Yeah.
books and mind map it.
well, and
That's awesome.
my dad kind of did the
At
same
14,
thing.
14 years
he
old.
pulled me aside about 19. I was, working. I was a part-time manager at a movie theater, Dan Harkin's theater, actually.
Yes.
Who's a friend of the show,
Yes.
and that was before I knew him.
Yes.
But he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I want to teach you how to sell," because he was a remodeling salesman, and he pulled me out, paid my bills for a month, and taught me how to sell. And I had to read those two books specifically.
Very powerful books.
Yeah.
Very powerful books.
So that just like
yeah.
immediately ingratiated you and me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad. Think and Grow Rich resonated a long time because my dad was a big time. That's how I actually got into real estate. He was doing a lot of real estate when I was a kid.
So was your dad.
I was one of those
Yeah,
10-year-old
love
kids
it.
that used to have to go sit on boring ass listing and
Yeah,
presentations
yeah.
with my dad in the corner.
Where's your dad now?
It's in Sacramento. Yeah,
But you
What does he
absorb
do
all
now?
that
What
stuff.
does he do now?
He owns the. My dad is a driving school instructor, and he's been doing that for 40 years. And his claim to fame is teaching Michael Jackson how to drive.
Oh.
Barry Manilow, all of the famous people back in LA. My dad was like the top driving instructor there, so they would
So
send me.
cool.
Yeah, so that's his little claim thing. But
That's
he's like
amazing.
my mentor, my guy, and he's given me a lot of knowledge. But like I said, back in those days, he was in a lot of motivational stuff. And I remember one time he was taking me home, and he went to get some gas, and I looked in between the seat. He had his briefcase, and I pulled out a book, and it was Think and Grow Rich.
What was it called?
Think and Grow Rich
By Napoleon Hill.
by Napoleon Hill.
Okay, what do you think of?
I took the book, and I didn't tell my dad. I
Oh, you
took
just.
it. My dad never said anything about it, but he kept asking me questions about it.
Oh, he knew, but he didn't let you know.
Didn't
that
want
he
it
knew.
back, but he kept asking me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he was asking me those questions.
Mhm.
But now that I think about it, like, He was like, let me keep it. I'm just gonna quiz him on it. See?
That's
But
cute.
how?
What about Rich Dad
brilliant.
Poor Dad? Did he ever read that one?
What's that?
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
My dad? Yeah, he's read that. My dad's a big reader. Yeah,
Because
he read
we've
it.
had that author on the show
Kiyosaki or
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
Yep.
Yeah,
a
I've
few times.
I went to
Dynamic.
his 3-day weekend seminar. We've had
He's
him on the
amazing.
show.
Dynamic.
He's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
He's a
dynamic.
great guy. So, Chet, what do you want to take from this? I mean, do you have any?
Well, just the mind map concept sounds like a great way to potentially like see what things are the biggest priorities in your life. Because I usually use lists when I'm like talking about my goals or like things I want to work on, but a list is not really a great way to, just in a certain order. It's not really a good way to compare things and prioritize them and see them visually as like equal.
Yeah.
Whereas the mind map, you can kind of put everything like out in the same area, and it'll allow you to think about it in a different way, I think. So
Yeah, but they say that our minds doesn't work in a linear fashion.
yeah, that's why I think the
Sure.
map would
We
be
work in
See it all
connections.
together.
Everything that we think of, ideas and thoughts, is always connected to something else. If you
Yeah.
have a feeling about something, it's always going to be connected to something. That's why they say mind mapping is more conducive for the brain. They say it's the fastest way to get information in and out of your brain, because
and
just
out.
the structure of it is so similar to how our brains think anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So my mission is to try to really cause and create a lot of change, around this, and really help people love life more by just showing them this powerful
I'm
tool.
so inspired that the way you want to help people. Linda, you're helping people. Can you say hello again?
Hello again.
How are you helping people? How are you helping?
Hello, Gracie.
How are you helping people?
Okay, Linda's big shtick is literacy, and so I'm like trying to write as many children's books as I can, but I'm also trying to, because John suggested it. He said, you should do a TED Talk, which is way down the road. I know the process takes years to get one, but I never ever would have considered that. But it's so true. Let's say I could get 100 books written before I croak, right?
How many have you written now?
24.
24.
So you only have
books.
76.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow, that's incredible.
76.
Wow.
But if
And you were inspired because you
Year and a
didn't
half,
like,
you're
you
done.
didn't like
One a week.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Wait, let's do it. You didn't like the books your grandkids were reading.
well,
Should I say kids or grandkids? Maybe that,
no,
you don't want me to say that.
Yes,
it
Linda's
wasn't-
been on this show before. You should
Yes,
check that
but
episode out.
I didn't start writing because of I didn't like what was out there. I started writing because it was
Oh.
inside me,
Mhm.
and
Okay,
I wanted
okay.
to I really want to build vocabulary,
Mm.
increase kids' connection with nature,
Mhm.
and improve their
Sustainability.
literacy skills. Because
If I remember right, you might have been a teacher in a prior life.
I was, and I was a
If
reading
I'm-
teacher.
Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah.
And your
Yes.
books have a lot about Arizona's lands, just our terrain and being sustainable and caring about
That's
the
true.
planet and the environment.
Right. But what John Diggs made me realize is,
John
without
Diggs.
saying it, is that, okay, let's say a whole bunch of kids buy those books and their parents read them
Mhm.
and they loan them to somebody else or gift them.
Right.
But if I can reach the adults who impact the kids, who have influence over kids, who make decisions on,
Yes.
that's all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, how'd you think of that? So it's true. So I want to get on a bigger stage to try to impact literacy. In a
Well,
bigger
and it's not only
I love it.
literacy, but I mean, if you're looking at, Think and Grow Rich and those type of books, you're not only talking about reading and writing literacy, but you're talking financial literacy, which is
Oh,
not taught in schools.
not at all.
Teachers, most teachers are the poorest people we know, so they're not the ones to be
But that's
teaching
not most
literacy.
important because you can be the richest person in the world or so wealthy and a terrible person. So it's all about caring about the planet.
But
it's
it
all about
helps
spreading
to know,
love.
It is.
No, that's so important, and saving the planet and sustainability and like what you guys are doing, because your goal can be, yes, you want to make some money, but if you don't, if your reach and your idea is not coming
But
from
Think
love,
and Grow,
it's
Think
not
and
good.
Grow Rich isn't about making money. It's about building an amazing life. That's the thing. The title's a little bit.
I've read that book, and I love that book. But
Right.
what I'm saying is, people out there that haven't read the books, it's not really about making money.
No.
It's about do what you love and do the
Money
right
will follow.
thing, and money will follow. don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Or
Yeah,
are you
absolutely.
all about just making money?
I've had a lot of money, and
Yeah.
You've made a lot and you've lost a lot.
Yeah, and I if I chose to, if it was a money game for me, I would stay in my software business.
Like,
Right.
It's
But right
making
now,
music. Are you
Yeah.
making music to make money, or are you doing because you love it?
No, I do it because I love it, and then
Yeah.
making money is just a byproduct and doing what I love.
yeah,
But I'm also I like wake up every day, and I'm like so fortunate that I get to do what I love.
Mhm.
Not everybody is in that position, so
Yeah.
That's true.
I appreciate it every single day, and that makes me work that much harder. And that's why I was actually talking about like working on priorities with the mind mapping thing. Like lately, I spend so much time in the studio. Like I don't go out that much and stuff. But I think that's good because it shows I'm dedicated to my career and like leveling up to the next step and stuff like that. So
Love it.
yeah, that's super good. I remember my father told me one time when I was doing the mortgage thing, because back in those days, I mean, I was really a machine. I mean, almost I was making tons of money, but doing
You're working a
50
lot.
hours,
Yeah.
60-hour weeks sometimes, running the company, top producer, hiring, firing, managing, copier breaks. Everything was me. And my dad said something very poignant, smart dude. Said, son, figure out the lifestyle you want to live, then just make enough money for that.
Oh,
I was like,
is that what he said?
yeah. I
How
was like,
cute.
that's brilliant. Because I was on a money thing.
Yeah.
Like, let me make as much as I could, but I never had the time to
Because
really
when
spend
people
it
are
or
too
love
much
my
on a
life
money
because of
thing,
it.
they're doing so much they have no time,
Yeah, they need to enjoy it.
and then they're not enjoying it, and they're not spending time with the right people,
Yeah, that's how it was
and
for
it's
me
just
for
all
a
about
minute.
money. That's bad.
Yeah, for it was. That was
So we don't want to promote that. We want to promote
No.
spending
what you
time,
love and the money
do what
will
you
come.
love. Yes, and
what you love and the
and
money
fall
will
in love.
Yeah, and
Love that.
that's really this map interview that we have developed. There's a welcome checklist. So instead of just letting people come into the community, I'm actually guiding them through to get the most impact in the community with this checklist that they have to go through. And one of the final things of that checklist is to develop their own I Am Mind Map, where I walk them through a 4-week course with 12 videos of just every component. So at the end of it, that you'll be able to see your life in a way that you've never seen it before. All of the key components of health, wealth, success, and happiness. You're able to see your life in such a way which gives you clarity on what you should be doing, when you should be doing it. It gives
What if
you
you
ideas.
feel like you're at your peak and you're so happy and you don't want it couldn't be better? Do we still want your program?
You still would want it because it's safe to say that there's some areas of your life that you're still not able to see. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, my life is great, but from their box. They're in their own big ass box. My big ass box is perfect.
yeah, and you should always strive for improvement too.
Yes.
Right.
You can always be better the next day.
Yeah.
If you're competing against yourself, then you should always want to get better and level up, because the day you start stagnating is the day you start getting worse.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Mentor-
love that. Love that.
Mentor told me you never staying the same. You're either growing or dying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's period.
Yeah.
You're either growing or dying. So I've always had that mindset. But again, how do I grow? Where do I grow? What do I do? A lot of people don't really have that clarity on what their next steps are. I want to do this. I wish I could do that. Or dang, I wish I had this, I had that, but they don't have anything, a tangible tool to help them
I love that.
take action.
So it's
And I
kinda
haven't found anything better than mind mapping.
So it's kind of like with nutrition wise, like my dad was a cardiologist, and he'd say, his quote was, "You're either fighting disease or feeding disease with what you eat." So it's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Good
Well,
point.
and then
Well, my disease likes wine.
we've talked
Cheers,
about
pour me
this.
some more.
We've talked about this a bunch, so we don't want to beat a dead horse. But the way that I got back in shape, because I got super out of shape after COVID, the way I got back in
He looked
shape
really fat.
is I take no days off from taking care of my body, my brain, and my soul. So I work out at least once a day, whether that's run, yoga, lift. I do something.
Right.
And then as far as getting smarter, I either work on music, like writing something, or I read. So I level up my brain and my intelligence. And then as far as the soul aspect, I have fun with either friends or family every day too.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I'm fulfilled in all aspects of life. And since I can get really distracted because I have a lot going on with work, since I take no days off, then it's just oh, check that off every single day, and you just feel way better.
Yeah.
But it's not really a big picture kind of thing. It's more of just like making sure you're disciplined and doing those things every single day. So it's kind of a tool that people could implement with their mind maps to like make sure that they're actually like staying on top of chipping things away.
Yeah,
I love that.
I look at mine every day. You know,
You do, you
yeah.
as well. How do you do that?
Every morning I just look at my mind map to center myself. I got a meditation practice around my I am mind map to revisit.
Okay.
I can, you know, by mind mapping it out, I can visualize in my meditation every key aspect of my I am mind map of who I want to be when I'm done with my meditation. You know, what's most important to me. It gives me a recharge. You know, I do it sometimes during the day. You know, I get that lazy sleep at 12:30 or something. I'll go upstairs in my house and lay down and put my headset on where I'm actually recorded myself speaking my I am mind map. I am healthy,
Who
wealthy,
does John Diggs
successful.
want to be?
I am healthy, wealthy, successful, and happy.
Are you?
I am. Totally. And part of that healthy component, to your point, when I was developing this part of my I am mind map, I thought about what are the key components of health for me. And it was spiritual, mental, and physical. Then I even took that even further. You know, what does it mean to be excellent, spiritually healthy, physically, mentally? What are the key things I need to do personally to make sure I'm excellent health spiritually, mentally, and physically? And it just really, that part of my mind map just clarified it. Well, it was just a no-brainer. Okay, then I got to do this every day. You know, got to do.
I say we go through here and say who everybody wants to be. Who do you want to be, Chet?
I just want to keep making awesome music and playing bigger and better shows, entertaining more people, having more people listening to my music. And so that's all just a product of dedication and staying at it every day, writing songs every day, finishing songs, playing more shows. So it's all about consistency, really. And I love what I do, so it's not like a grueling marathon. Like, I literally love what I do every single day when I get to work on new songs. Or I also love exercising too, so I have like great breaks from the studio where I go on runs or go and lift and stuff like that. So
Nice.
oh, and then also yoga. I've been doing a lot of yoga over the past
really?
week. It feels so good. Yeah, because like a couple weeks ago, I like went on a streak where I didn't do any for like a week. And I'd get home from the gym and I just feel like stiff.
Yeah.
It's crazy how great yoga is for like aligning your core and getting yourself ready for a lift.
Are you getting a yoga instructor or something?
No, I just go on YouTube, Yoga with Adrian. She has
I love her.
she
She's
has
amazing.
hours and hours of videos and like
She's
different
amazing.
lengths, different
Yeah,
difficulties.
she's the best.
Yeah.
You need to check out Yoga with Reva.
Oh,
really?
Some
Reva.
competition
It's better
for
than
yoga with
Adrian.
Adrian. All right, we're Yoga with Adrian
Dueling
stands around
yoga.
here, so.
So, Linda, what's on?
Well, first I want to say your mom must be very proud of you.
I'm so proud.
I
I'm
hope
beyond
so.
proud.
Oh, this is your mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so
I know.
proud.
Shocking, right?
No, seriously, from a young man your age to be having shit together like that, it's
Right?
impressive.
Thanks.
It is impressive. Thank you.
Very impressive. I want to be someone who uses the rest of her years in my troisième âge, as the French call it. My
Troisième âge. I
troisième
love
âge,
it.
my third chapter,
Yes.
to maybe impact someone's literacy who then can express an idea that would have died.
Ooh, I love that.
So if you don't, if you can't express, you could have the greatest idea that could impact the world in a beautiful way,
Mhm.
but if you can't put it into words, whether written or spoken, there's no way that idea, like, what if that idea could have saved
So,
the
Linda,
world,
how would
changed
you
the
get
world?
people started on that? Like,
I'm
how
on
would
it.
you?
I'm already on it, Kinga.
How do you inspire people with this? Because we want to
With
know.
children's books and.
But we now are
No, I need
Let us know.
that message needs to get out. So
with all your books. You have 12 books,
24.
24 books.
But
Don't
it's-
sell her short, King.
But it,
I know,
no,
24 books. Thank you. 24 books.
it has to go beyond books. It has to go, well, like Saturday I'm teaching a class to an all-day workshop for people who want to be children's book authors.
Oh,
So what if one of them is going to be the next Dr. Seuss? That would be so
I love
cool.
it.
What if by taking that class, they actually get The Martian off the shelf and make it into an actual published book that then inspires kids to have an idea that then makes the world better.
I love
Person
it.
that did that.
So that's your passion.
Right, that's my passion.
Okay. Well,
I'm
my
totally
passion
going home
is,
and grabbing that book, by the way.
Okay.
So, Owen,
No pressure.
can you start it again for Martin?
Yep.
So, Martin, what's your passion? What do you want to inspire people to do?
You know what? For me, I want more of what I already have. I have such an amazing life. I am so
You do.
blessed and I'm so grateful. And do I have problems? Absolutely. Do I have things that aren't the way that I want them to be? Absolutely.
Are you perfect? Yes.
Am I perfect? Hell no. It's funny. I'm going to tell this story. I love this. So a good friend of mine has a 9-year-old daughter, and she was yelling at her children. I want this kitchen perfect. I want you to clean this. And I want you to do that. And it needs to be perfect. And one day, her 9-year-old daughter goes, "Mom, why does it have to be perfect? Can it be just really good?" And she was like, "Oh my God, my daughter's going to need therapy because I used the word perfect." But what she meant was yes, perfection doesn't allow for mistakes. Perfection doesn't allow for failure. But really good, excellence, that allows for trial and error. It allows to fail. And I want to continue to be in a world where I can be really good. I don't need to be perfect. I just want to continue to be really good.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
I just want to spread love and keep inspiring people and people inspiring me. Like
You mean you want to
Linda,
save the planet?
and I was saving
One
the planet.
show at a time?
Yeah. One show at a time. Dominic, how much more time do we
You know,
have?
there's
We still have 20 minutes.
Oh, cool.
There's
Nice.
one thing, if I could, that another aspect of the mind mapping thing that I find is really kind of a hidden gem is that a lot of people, when they set goals, or I think what's worked for me in the past, and maybe I should probably tell this. Well, what works for me.
We have a lot of time.
Okay.
You're
You
not
got
in a
20
rush.
minutes.
We have
Well,
20
what had
minutes.
happened, I think it was my junior year of Washington State. We just won the Aloha Bowl. It
Were
was
you in Hawaii?
Yeah, it was the Aloha Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. We just won it.
The Aloha Bowl was in Nebraska.
Yeah. The water side of Nebraska. But
The water side. That's it.
Right. No, but there was this Southern girl I never forget. She came to our football team, and she was a sports psychologist. And she came and gave a presentation to our team, and I don't think it didn't really resonate, but she was basically saying, "Hey, if anybody want to come see me, my office is there." But I went to her, and
You're the only one.
I may have. I don't know if anybody else who went to her, but I went to her and she asked me that most amazing question I ever heard, and she was like, "John, what is the best play you can make playing football?" And all of the years that I played, I never thought about it because
What's the best one?
What is the ultimate play you
I
can make?
love it.
What is
Oh,
the
you
ultimate?
talked about this at lunch. This is a really cool
Right.
concept.
But what's the ultimate play? And I never really thought about that.
Well, it depends on what position you were.
But it doesn't matter the
Exactly.
position.
No, it
I mean,
does.
Because every
No, let
every
him finish.
position,
Let
every
him finish.
No, but John Diggs.
but
Let him
every
If you're a
position.
quarterback, there's a different play.
No,
If
but
you're-
he's not
regardless-
talking about that.
but
Scoring a
regardless-
touchdown's always the best.
But regardless of the position, there's still the ultimate play you can make.
Martin doesn't watch football.
Right?
He doesn't know.
Regardless of what position, there's
I
still an
played
ultimate play you can make
football.
as a quarterback. Whatever.
You don't watch football. I
So,
know.
But I played
What
You
it.
didn't watch
happened
the
is
Super
the
Bowl.
lady, she had asked me that question. I didn't know. She said, "Well, think about it, and I want you to write it out." So I went
What'd you
back,
write out?
I started writing it out. About a week later, she came back. She said, "No, I need more adjectives, more adverbs. Get really deep.
Oh, I love that.
Get really clear on what it is. I want to know it like it's just really happening."
Wow.
So another couple weeks, I'm writing it down. She's like, "All right, that's cool." She said, "All right, I'm gonna put you in a little, I'm gonna have you, I'm gonna relax you down, and I'm just gonna read what you wrote. And while you're relaxing, I want you to just think about it. We're gonna record it." She did that thing.
Wow.
This was back in
Wow, that's some
88.
serious
Wow.
voice dialogue work. That's
Yeah, this
amazing.
is 1988. So we just had
Wow.
the little
Yeah,
Walkman
yeah.
What was her
cassette
position
tapes.
again?
Sports psychologist, just somebody they
So
hired.
she
She was good, though.
read back to you
what I wrote.
what you wrote.
What I wrote.
And,
She sounds
that had to
And she said, "Just listen to it. Let's just see what
Why
happens."
don't you start dating her?
I was in college, but yeah. But God is my witness. That play happened when I was a senior year in college, and I got it on YouTube. Yeah. And
So
that-
you
that
visualize
exact
a
play,
specific play.
and that exact play
Mhm.
happened.
Wow.
Well, can I tell you what's happening in my life right now?
And-
Is happening. All the good things are happening because I go to my prayer rock on my hike, which I won't divulge where it is.
Right.
It's a very secret place, and don't try to say where it is. And I go to that prayer rock, not every day, but at least 5 days a week.
You've never. It's so secret. You've never brought me there.
I've never brought you there. And the one person I've brought there has told other people, so he'll never be divulged again.
Did you kill
But-
it? I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm joking.
Well, that turned dark.
No, his dad.
She had to keep it secret. She had to keep
I
it secret.
know, right?
You gotta go.
Because his dad would say to him,
He's under the.
if you, what was
He's
your, what was
swimming
your
with
dad?
the fishes.
People are gonna think you're a witch. Right?
Magic
Magic
quote.
3 times a week at the
What was your
hour.
dad's quote? Yeah,
It's after 7.
You can't live with it.
toilet.
Oh, wait. His dad has saying. Say the saying.
I was just saying that earlier. I was saying that my dad said something to me when I was like 10 years old, and it didn't resonate with me until I was married with kids. I was walking down my steps, and I paused because I understood what my dad said at that time, and he said, "Son, you can't live with him, and you can't shoot him." And I was like,
He's thinking about his wife.
No, but what I wanted to say about that, but what I wanted to say about that point though, that point is that from there I started to realize the power of the imagination.
Yeah.
And started reading stories like Michael Jordan being interviewed, and they said, "What was it like, experiencing that play?" And he was like, "I did that 1,000 times in my mind."
head.
And so I realized the importance of visualizing
In your
your
mind.
goal, what it
Yes.
is you want, meditating on it, visualizing it. And over the years, I still can't find a better tool to help me make that real more than mind mapping.
Wait,
You know?
this
So I
is
just keep-
so accurate
Yeah.
because so many times people will ask me like, "Oh, like you didn't look nervous at all." Like whenever I play like a big new venue or something like that,
Like
they'll be like, "You
New
didn't
Year's
look
Decadence, yeah.
nervous at all. Like you just went up there and did your thing." I'm like, "Well, I've been visualizing doing that for years,
Yeah.
so I'm just excited for the opportunity that's finally happening live."
And a long
Yeah.
time ago, he
Yeah.
said, "This is what's going to happen."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
the more you
key,
clarify
is what you're
it.
saying.
But that's what I'm saying. The more real you make it,
Mm-hmm.
the more likely it's going to occur. Like
Yes.
Michael Jordan said, he could hear the coolness of the arena, he heard the squeaks of the of the shoes. He felt the sweat dripping down. He felt the hand on his basketball
Wow.
all while he was taking that last shot.
Wow.
That's how real he had it.
Mhm.
But most people don't have the means or the skill set to make their vision, imagination that clear.
The knowledge to think about it.
But that's where the mind mapping is, where I'm training student athletes now, so they can write out their perfect play, have it all mapped out. Then I'm gonna take
But-
them through that process. So now let's visualize.
But I
it.
Not
love-
just
Listen
their
to it.
perfect play in the game, but their perfect play in life.
Right.
I mean, you can mind
Yeah.
map the perfect play with the woman that you love
Yep.
or the man that you love.
Yep.
You can write out the perfect play of your career. You
Right.
could write out the
Of your
perfect play,
success.
right?
Of their happiness. in
we've
your
talked
family.
about it on this show about like if you want to be in a relationship, write out every single thing that you want in a relationship. But what you're talking about is taking that to another level.
And I take it to another level because I go to this place that I hike that I don't want to divulge,
Right.
and I go there and I say the success of my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I thank God every day for what's happening to you guys right now, for what's happening with Jill and Chet, with their teaching and their music production, and not every day, 5 days a week, and I thank God. I'm like, okay, I want this to happen, and thank you for what's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God. And then I go through, Martin and Sherry and their success, and Owen and me and the show, and my music friends like Austin Cheryl Cooper, and my best friends and my kids, and just everybody around me.
Right.
And I think for the success already, but then I ask for what's going to happen.
Right.
And I visualize what will happen with what I want, and it happens.
Yeah, there's a many.
And people think I'm psycho. They're like,
There's a lot of
"Oh,
proof
your
in that.
rock isn't." I'm like, "It's
All
not
right,
at the
Kinga,
rock.
I have
it's
a
not in the
question
God."
for you. I have a big question for you.
Yeah.
All right, Kinga, what is your perfect play?
What's already happening right now?
Oh, that's.
It is. I like
It's a
to-
good answer, but I was expecting something.
Mhm.
Some people, a lot of people believe in the more powerful the prayer, is equal to the more power of the vision.
Mhm.
How real you are in that connection of what it is you're praying about. You know, is it just a word? Are you really in that
Oh
moment?
no, I really.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, but
visualize
the more
everything.
you're in that
And
moment,
it
they
works.
say that's the way that the universe or God is really wanting to see
God
the
is
message.
answering all my prayers. Wait,
Is
wait,
to
can
see you
listen?
future pace it, or to see you. I want to see in your imagination what you want me to give you, not this.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Putting in the work to make sure that becomes reality. Like, so
Yes,
if that is a
yes.
vision for a student athlete, making sure they're putting in the reps of those sprints and those lifts so
Yep.
that they have that advantage to make that play.
Yep.
Or where, if it's for me, for spending the time in the studio finishing these songs
Yes.
so that they're ready for the next show. There's like a different way to apply it with each thing, but you should be working towards making that visualized future actually happen by, you know, accomplishing goals that are
Of
getting you
course.
closer
Someone like
to it.
you should visualize yourself at the Grammys, getting your name called and going up on the stage, and
That's
you're
what I
standing
visualize
there
when I
and really make it
right.
real. You know what I mean? Seeing your mom, seeing all your people out there, and just really see
And
what
saying
it's going.
thanks to
What
my
would
mom.
it truly feel like standing
Thanks
on
to my
stage,
mom.
winning the Grammy?
See,
You see what I mean?
I like that. I have thought mostly about what venues I want to play, because if you're able to sell, like, for example, like Red Rocks is on my list of, like, I would, you know, that's such a bucket list moment, but that's 10,000 tickets. You have to have 10,000 people.
I'm just gonna say, if Chet beats me to the Grammys, I'm gonna beat the case.
But the Grammys are, it's a certain
And I mean that with a
it's-
lot of
but
love.
it's a group of people that you have to impress, which is
Yeah.
that's not the business I'm in. I'm in the
I know,
business
I'm
of
just
trying
teasing.
to, you know, entertain people and make them have a great night.
Right.
I don't know if the Grammys will ever like me, but
But they
I just
They
will.
will. They
Yeah.
will.
But they will if you visualize there. You
Yeah.
may have to go all like this
I
to
love
get
this.
there.
Yes.
exactly. I
But
wanna
if
make-
that's your
Well,
end
that's-
goal or
and
that's your
an important-
reward,
That's an important
you focus
point.
on your
Yes.
reward. You know,
Because has your path been straight and narrow?
hell to the no.
Yeah.
And
I
do
know
have
mine
to
hasn't. I
ask
know
you-
hers hasn't. I'm pretty sure
I
yours
haven't
has.
used
Yours
it.
has.
Oh my God, okay.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that though is because I make a very underground style of like house music, dance music.
Not
that,
really.
Well, no, like a lot of my favorite artists and inspirations have never won Grammys. Like,
So what?
Yeah.
So
but
what?
they sell out Red Rocks once or twice a year.
The point
So-
is not the Grammys.
Yeah, the point is making music that people love and that people end up growing a fan base of people that love your music and want to see you live. That's what my end goal is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there is a moment that you have to identify that you've achieved the goal,
a milestone.
whatever
if you
that
will.
is.
Oh, I
You know what
I
mean?
had one this past year because I played at Decadence, which was
That's a
ranked
big
in the
deal.
top 10 biggest festivals in the U.S.
Okay.
last
Wow.
year.
Oh,
It was a huge
All right,
deal.
so here,
And
what's
at
your
midnight.
next milestone
Nice,
goal,
nice.
Chet?
That was it.
I want to play a festival at that size outside of Arizona because I have like a bigger pull here because I'm from here.
Got
So
it, got it,
now
got
my
it.
next goal is to play a really big festival in another
Europe?
state. No, just another state.
Visualize it. every night.
Yeah,
100%.
I love it.
You know, they talk about that in The Secret, that video, The
Oh, I
Secret
love The
of,
Secret, yep.
is that,
I
man,
love it.
when you set that intention in there, you mysteriously find people just come out of nowhere. That's just
Well,
So
but it's-
we're-
but
and that's
it's
where I believe
about-
she came from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, that just because I set that intention out there and was like, this is where I wanted to go, and next thing you know, I'm borrowing a rope from a neighbor, and we writing a book, and now it's on
Yeah.
Amazon hot new
Linda,
release
what do you have to
list.
say?
Yeah,
this?
number one hot new
Yeah,
release.
number one hot new release list, and we wrote that book in less than 2 months.
Dominic, how much more time?
7
more minutes?
6 minutes.
Oh,
6
only
minutes.
6. Okay. So you think that you putting out there brought Linda to you?
Or so.
Because I believe in that.
Absolutely.
I believe in that.
Absolutely. I mean, I have the intention of what I want to build, and even you guys, you know, this is a part of
Can
that
I tell you,
plan.
I go to my
This is the
prayer
universe. The universe brought this to me.
5
you know?
days a week, I walk and hike to my prayer rock,
Mhm.
and I say my intentions.
I know where
say
your
to
prayer
my
rock
God.
is, by the way.
You don't know where it
I
is.
do.
How do you know?
I've been there.
Don't tell him.
He's
that.
seen you
I'm
casting your
joking.
spells.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
He's seen you casting your spells
Their
there.
head.
She's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Get on my prayer rock.
I saw it in her eyes. She's like, dang, I gotta kill him too.
Second victim at the prayer rock.
I I touch on the rock. I thank
Oh
God
my
for
Lord.
all the blessings.
I
Then
gotta
I
kill
go to-
him too.
Him too. I saw the rock where I cast the spells.
That's
Then I go to the blessings I already have, and then I ask for more blessings, and they all come true.
yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you, they come true.
Yep.
We believe
They
you.
come
But,
true.
well,
You're
it's
living
it's
it.
the audience that we're trying to convince.
Oh no, I don't want everybody at my prayer rock.
Find your own
Wait, hold
damn
on.
prayer rock
You're
is
not
what
all
Ginga
invited.
says.
I'm
Don't
not
use
telling
my
you where it
prayer
is.
rock. Find your
Only
own
my
damn
prayer
one.
rock.
Questioning if it actually works because you're bragging about it so much. Like you want everybody to go
It
find
works.
it.
It works. Nobody else can
The
go.
secret is just really being absolutely clear on what it is you do want.
Bingo.
So many people are so clear about what they don't want that I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want
That's
this. But what do you do want?
Yeah.
That's an important distinction
That's
because
really
I
important.
feel
That's so important.
that a lot of people, I would argue most people
I agree.
focus on what they don't want
Don't
and
want.
just
Or
like they said,
negativity.
What did they
like,
attract?
I don't
And what
like
did they
this.
attract?
I don't like that.
What do they attract? I don't know why I keep getting the same man.
Uh-huh.
Because you keep
If
thinking
you
about that
say-
same
yeah,
man.
forget
But
about
if
what
you
you don't want.
dream,
Talk
and that's
about
one of the
what you
things I
want.
love about Kinga,
Yes.
is that she dreams about what she wants.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
She doesn't talk about what she doesn't want.
I know.
She dreams about, and that's one of the
Yeah,
reasons I come to
exactly.
the
Only
show.
about the positive.
Same thing with Chet. Chet doesn't talk about what he doesn't want.
Right.
He talks about what he wants.
Yes.
What he wants
Yes.
for people, what he wants
Yes.
for himself,
That's
what he wants for
big.
the
He
planet.
does. He does.
And that's why we're here. And
Yes. Yes.
that is, and it's nuanced.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I thought about all the things I didn't want, and I got plenty of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It brings it back to
Exactly.
you. The negative energy comes to you.
And that's the core message of what I'm trying to get, especially in the
Yeah.
introduction to, Mappineerville.
Yeah.
The people that come, don't come in and explore all of the mind map templates that I got, the courses and all of the stuff that I have for daily, weekly stuff. Let's start with getting clear on who are you. Who are
Mappineerville
you?
seems
What
like
do
you
you
need
want?
to have
What's
like a
positivity?
Mappy Mouse. It's like a Disney thing.
It's
like,
just DeVille. Well, it did come from Disney Imagineering.
Yeah.
From Mappineering, but just engineering, beautiful
So how
And
do we
I
mind.
get
got it
started?
right.
How do we
And
start
I
it
got
on our big ass box?
I heard what you were
Mappineerville.com.
sending. That's perfect.
How
I
does
love
somebody
it.
get started? Dominic, how much time do we have?
4 minutes.
So 4 minutes.
4 minutes. All
How
right.
does somebody get your book? How do we
Yeah,
get your book?
where's your book available?
You can
Come
go
here,
to
talk to this.
johndiggs.com. It's on
johndiggs.com.
Amazon.
How do we
Okay.
buy it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon for purchase.
Okay.
Okay, we go to Amazon.
But
and say,
ultimately,
get
for
John-
those who are
John Diggs.
interested in really wanting to learn more about mind mapping, you want to go to the Ville, mappineerville.com.
Mappineer.
But if
I
you
spent
want to
the-
purchase, Chet's gonna hold that up.
I just did.
.com.
What's that one called?
All right.
That
And
is,
then
that
Linda
is a
Rittenhouse. How do they get a hold of your children's books?
Oh, Amazon.
Amazon.com. Linda Rittenhouse
just-
children's books. Just put
just
that in
Linda
there. Be
Rittenhouse,
fine.
it's
All
great.
right.
But I'm a host on Mappineerville.
Yeah,
I'm so
she's a part of it
excited
too.
about
Yeah, she's a
Mappineerville.
welcome community, and she's
Yep.
the host.
So my
Yep.
favorite book was I Am. How do people get this book?
That's on Amazon too.
Mm-hmm.
That's on Amazon.com
Amazon.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just John Diggs.
And that was your
JohnDiggs.com,
second book,
you can
right?
get it. Yeah, this was the second one.
So the
Why do
first
I like
one
this
was
one so
Love
much?
Life.
Love Life.
And
Second
then
one
in
was
order
I
to
Am.
love life, you have to understand who you are,
Who you are.
which is the inspiration of
Like
I
this
Am.
one
Because
is.
I can get it, because if a lot of people just like run around going, like
Right.
Owen, for example, he's in college, and you don't know what you want, and you're just taking a bunch of classes, it's
Right.
a waste of time.
And most people, you'd be
Well,
surprised that
you need to know
go
what
through
you
life
want.
not really knowing what
Or are
they
you
want.
wasting your time?
You gotta,
Maybe.
don't waste your time.
Maybe.
But I know what he
Oh, it's
wants.
like maybe.
No, I don't.
Call out on it.
Owen, do you know what you want?
Dang, Kinga, you're being
I have
you're
an
being
idea about
vicious
it.
tonight.
He also is only a sophomore, so
Yeah.
Owen, do you know what you want?
I have an idea of what I want.
or
But
you're a freshman at
yeah,
ASU.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
so early in
A lot
life
of
that
first
I
years
don't really
don't
need to know right now. But I'm starting to develop like the ideas of what I want to
Mhm.
achieve and what I want to be in life. So
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like
What advice
Well,
would
if
you
your
give
goal
to
was to
Owen?
have great hair,
What's that?
you are killing it.
So what advice would you give to Owen?
What I would say to you, man,
True.
is to get really
19.
clear on where you want to see yourself at 25, 30, and 35.
Oh, you're 20
What's
then, I
the,
forgot.
what's the lifestyle you want to live 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now? How do you want to be? Do you see yourself a bachelor, married? You see yourself corporate? You see yourself in entertainment? Wherever it is, get really clear on, what it is that you see yourself. Then start to work backwards.
Yeah.
If you to be that person, well, who do you need to be today You know what is, and
I
start to
love it.
find other people that are already achieving that goal.
Mhm.
Start to pick out some of the things that you like about what they do. You know,
Surround
they're called
yourself with
modeling.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
just model some of their behaviors. If they're getting up at 6 o'clock, get your ass up
Oh,
at 6
I
o'clock.
love that.
You know what I mean? Whatever that is to
Yeah.
live that lifestyle, that would be what I would recommend.
I love that
And
you're
you-
saying that because all my most successful friends, like my billionaire friends, they wake up early.
Mhm.
They make lists.
And mind mapping.
They see
Mind
my
map it
mind
out.
map. They mind map.
Mind
what
map.
they're
I'm actually
doing.
gonna
And a
get
big
that
thing
about my
nowadays-
life.
That's really get
I like
clear
that
in your
idea,
life.
yeah.
All right, so it's
And a big thing
Check.
nowadays is find what your passions are and try to find out if there's any way you can start making money from that, even if it's a side hustle.
Yep.
I love that.
It doesn't matter what it is, video games, you know, bird watching, anything. You can start a blog about it, potentially start a social media that
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
might make money in the future.
Yep.
So if you really love
Something you like.
something, find out what your passions are.
Don't
I
get
agree with
good
that.
at something you don't like.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a good.
Amen.
in the
to
green
that.
room.
Yes.
Green.
Saving
Big
the
City
planet.
Music, one show at a
Good
time.
time.
Yes is more fun. JohnDiggs.com. Don't forget to look up Linda Rittenhouse and some children's books.
Saving the planet.
Thank you.
One
guys.
One show at a time.
Love